Hey, what's up guys? Hopefully everything looks like it's going okay. For some reason, YouTube was kind of freaking out about kind of streaming through an event for some reason. And so hopefully this sounds like it's okay and it's not buffering a whole lot. If it is, let me know in the chat if anything's going on. That way I know if it's just tonight's a bad night or whatever's happening. But unfortunately, that event didn't seem like it was working for whatever reason, so we kind of came over here. Hopefully no one's stuck over the event. I left a message in the chat, and so hopefully people kind of make their way over here. As usual, we're just here to talk about backpacking stuff and backpacking gear, especially if you're watching the replay. What we do is we kind of just pick a topic at hand. We kind of take some questions from the chat, and it's always kind of a big party in the chat going on. It looks like right now the chat is rocking pretty well. A couple changes YouTube has made is that there's actually a live replay of the chat, so those of you guys who are watching it after the fact can kind of see what's going on or has been going on, all the shenanigans that were happening. So lots to talk about. As always, remember we have that code in the description for those of you who are interested in buying some Mountain House meals. They're not sponsoring anything, or I don't get any cash from them, but there is a coupon code in the description where you can save 30% off. And I always have to let people know I'm Mountain House Ambassador, and so go ahead and try those things out. I did not say shenanigans. Well, now I said just now. But wow, looks like the chat's really hopping there. I know we had one question before we started. And what we were talking about is the War Bonnet Mini Fly. And the War Bonnet Mini Fly is hands down one of my favorite tarps. I'm thinking about picking up the Thunderfly actually here soon. Probably what I'm going to end up doing is waiting until I actually need it for winter. In the summer and spring and fall, I don't see the need for the more coverage of the Thunderfly. But the Mini Fly has just been awesome. In terms of the question was about the length of the tie outs for the doors of the Mini Fly, and usually I have 6-foot tie outs, and so there are 4 tie outs at each corner, and I have the 6-foot tie outs of Dyneema. I don't use shot cord on the Sil Poly. For the doors, I actually right now do have 6-foot tie outs, but I would honestly go to 9 to 12 feet, depending on how far away the tree is from your tarp, as well as how high you're hanging your tarp. I find that having a little extra cordage for that would be actually really helpful. Trowel with a mustache logo. Let's see. Wyatt is saying, hey Tim, thinking about returning my Osprey Levity 45 for either a Zpacks Blast or Haul. Wyatt, I guess that would depend where you purchased it from. If you bought it from REI, then that's a fairly easy enough return. I would go ahead and make that switch right away. Like I've mentioned before in previous times, I'm not sure exactly. I know their advertising or their marketing for the Levity is always like, hey, if you have to ask, it's not for you. I have to ask myself that question because I don't know who it's for, because I feel like Wyatt is finding out, we're noticing that there are cheaper cottage vendor options and that carry more weight, have more capacity, and they're cheaper. So why would you buy an Osprey Levity? I guess if you were paying for the warranty and you think that's something you really, really will need, that may be an option. But other than that, I don't see it as something I would purchase. But that's why I would try Wyatt to see if REI will take it back. Hopefully you bought it from them and you're not past the warranty. But yeah, Zpacks Blast or Haul. I like the Haul better myself, Wyatt, just because I think it's a little bit more durable. I know they have people who love their Arc Blast and haven't had any issues whatsoever, but that's why I would try out. Hey, Aquafina Spring Water. Let's see. Oh, you like my audio? That's good. No new mic. It's still the Blue Yeti is what I'm using, Chris. Northwoods in Michigan this past weekend. Oh, nearly went hypothermic in that new Big Agnes insulated pad. Oh, Chris, don't tell me that. Chris Piat is talking about the new Big Agnes pad. I actually considered getting that. It's rated supposedly down to 15 degrees. And he's saying that was not a true rating, unfortunately. I actually picked up a summer pad, Chris, and the video is coming out on Monday. Going into an overview, I chose the uninsulated pad, the Big Agnes pad, and I'm hoping for summer temps because sometimes I find that the X-Therm is just a little too much, and I find that it's not it's not gonna do, I'm there pretty much in shorts and a t-shirt, and it's something where I'm sweating really, really badly. And so I want something a little cooler, and it was only 13 ounces. And so that's one thing I'm gonna be trying. Coming to Hanson's April 13th, Hammock Forms hang. Unfortunately, I'm not, even though that sounds like a really fun hang. People usually know I'm pretty precious about my time out. I try to make sure that I either have a backpacking trip or a camping trip, like maybe even a meetup scheduled. And unfortunately, April's scheduled already. Torso, I have the large belt, and I have the medium torso Drew in my Arc Haul, and so that seems to work well for me. The medium is just about right. I think my torso length, from what I remember, is 21 to 22 inches, somewhere in there. Hey, Marlo. Gilbert, welcome. Some gear testing out by Neil's Gap, it looks like. Has anyone ever used a rain kilt made out of another waterproof material other than Cuban fiber? I know Luke's Ultralight has a still nylon version, I think, but I haven't tried it. Hey, Nick. Let's see. Tim, what do you think of climbing Indian Staircase? And I know that's one of our topics we want to talk about, the Red River Gorge video. That was a really, Jason, that was actually more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Climbing Indian Staircase, I honestly, when I've seen the videos and I've looked at things, how they're, how they look on video, I'm like, oh, that will be not an issue at all. Of course, we had our packs on, and most of the videos that I watched, people did not have their packs on. The packs actually made it more difficult to start. Once we got up past that first kind of hump, if you will, it was kind of smooth sailing. Once you got to that part where it was kind of climbing a ladder, you kind of leaned forward and you were fine. But that was probably one of the more interesting things I've done. You guys saw in the video Adam kind of having to use a rope to pull his pack up, and I made a joke about how it's an ultralight camping ultralight rope, and it's about 3 pounds, of course, of rope that he carried. But it was handy for him because his pack was heavier, because he had all that camera gear and that camera equipment. I think it convinced him, though, to try to make sure that he does not, he'll try some non-photography trips, because he was carrying a lot of weight on him. I think he was easily 45, 50 pounds. And so because we had lighter weight packs, I think I had maybe 19 pounds of total weight on there. It was pretty easy to kind of hop up there. But that was definitely an interesting experience. Wyatt's agreeing about, conversation about the Arc Haul, because, that it makes more sense to me. Hey, Rudy. Lance went hyperthermic this weekend. Did some hike with Mike. Yeah, I did see that you saw Sloan's Wilderness Expeditions out there, so that'd be kind of cool. And Chris is talking about that Big Agnes pad not being a 15-degree pad, and that is pretty unfortunate. I'm not sure why that is. And I did miss that Ohio YouTubers camp out, which it looked like so much fun, and I kind of wish I could have been there. I actually had kids that weekend. My wife was working, so I wasn't able to make it. And so it's just something that happens sometimes. And I sent my representative, I sent Subaru Josh for me, and it looks like he did me proud. And of course I was there in spirit. You guys saw my shirt. I didn't know that was going to happen. I know some people were asking, did you know they were going to do that? I knew something was up. I know Restless wanted to kind of borrow my shirt to kind of make it part of the experience. I knew something was going to happen. I set a few guidelines, make sure they knew, but it looked like they had a really good time, and it makes me want to make sure that the next one will be a priority for me, as long as we kind of make it work. Of course, I was all set until Lance changed the dates. So there's that. I put that out there. Let's see. Hey, Adam, Restless Outdoors is in the house. Hey, Andy. Let's see. Tripp said something about Tyvek, I think, up ahead. I missed it. Hey, lots of different people. Any studies, Brian is asking, on the therapeutic effects of backpacking? I have no idea. That would be an interesting kind of psychological study. Maybe that could be a dissertation for a student of some kind. But I just know the effects it has on me, and you guys all know that too. personally, if you ever think about how you feel when you come back, I always think there's a little bit of post-trail depression, kind of using that word very loosely. I'm just talking about basically just having the blues, kind of missing life out there. And even for a couple days, I usually feel that when I come back, and I make sure that I schedule my next one again and again and again. Am I ever going to do Half Moon? That's on the list, as well as Cloud Splitter. If you remember the most recent video at Red River Gorge, I said that we were thinking about doing Cloud Splitter, but because of the snow and the rain, we opted not to even bother trying. There's a lot more scrambling if you're going to the cave in Cloud Splitter, as well as the overall overlook. I think isn't too bad. It's the scrambling in the cave we were more concerned about. We saw people out in Cloud Splitter anyway, and so it might have been doable, but for us, we chose not to. As it was, we kind of barely missed the snow, and we barely made the light as we headed up the Indian Staircase, and so we weren't going to push it any further. We kind of did our big thing, and we figured we'll be back. I mean, the gorge is one of those places that I don't find you can ever tire of finding arches or finding really cool rock formations or different features, and so it's not something where we won't go back again. So the staircase, yeah, at first when you first get started, that staircase is tough. Best suggestion for first hike in Colorado. Hello from Columbus. Zach, our first time out in Colorado, we did 4-pass loop. That's a gorgeous loop. We actually have a video on it. If you go look at my videos, the 2017 backpacking playlist, it's in there. And that was gorgeous. 4 days, 3 nights was just perfect. If you want a good introduction and an awesome time in Colorado, it's hard to go 4-pass loop. And Drew's going to help you out, it looks like, in the chat. Kurt's random outdoor stuff. How does the Arc Haul carry compared to your old Osprey? Way better. And if you watched the video 2 weeks ago talking about why I'm getting rid of my Exos, I actually don't have any Ospreys anymore. Let me think about that in terms of day packs. Yeah, I don't have any Ospreys anymore. And the reason I got rid of it, the big thing is it slipped quite a bit, especially toward the heavier end of its weight range. And so I wanted to make sure that I want something that didn't slip. I find the Arc Haul does a better job of transferring the weight to your hips. And I always talk about that 4-way belt cinch is so awesome on the Osprey. It can't be kind of understated exactly how awesome that is. And so it's one of those things where you don't realize how comfortable it is until you make the switch. Don't worry about the date, Lance. Let's see. Hey, welcome. Is it Andy or Kevin? SBO Outdoors. SB Outdoors, sorry. Yeah, that's the thing about the gorge, Chris, is that, and I do notice that, is that there does tend to be a lot of toilet paper in different places, and it's really unfortunate. I think that area is really awesome, but it's kind of nasty in some spots. I'm not sure why people do that or why they act the way they do, but they just leave nasty stuff everywhere. Maroon Bell's worth the effort. Yep, the weather that we had in Red River Gorge was pretty awesome. I had a lot of fun there. Let's see. Good geology. Jacob, I have never been backpacking in Canada. I have not. I think that'd be interesting. I think when I watch Last Grown Up in the Woods and see some of the areas that she has done, it's just fantastic. It's one of those things where I think that's Canada. North America is huge, and we have a lot of good wilderness areas. But Canada, my gosh, the untamed wilderness there is just amazing and impressive to me. And so those are places where you're like, hey, if you get lost out there, then you're gone for a while. People have to send out search planes, and it's, you're so far away from civilization. Restless is talking about my shirt smell, which is a little odd, I'll admit. It was kind of funny to see you smell that. But yeah, I've sweated in that shirt so many times I laughed when you did that. Even, it's one of those things where no matter how much I wash that shirt, and I know it only goes on trips. It's not like I wear it anywhere else. But every time I wear that shirt, I sweat in it so badly. And so I'm sure it smelled like me, that's for sure. Anyway, going to the East Coast look the same. Yeah, there was, if you haven't had a chance, people in the chat, watch the Ohio YouTubers get together that we've had. There are a lot of good YouTubers and a lot of good perspectives in there, and it was really funny to see. And if it's definitely worthwhile if you only watch one, and I don't know why you would do that, but if you only watch one, make sure that you watch Restless Outdoors. He's in the chat right now. He has that Zpacks Cuban Fiber tent as his profile picture. Check out his video because he has an amazing skit in there, kind of roasting yours truly. So let's see. I can't believe when I saw Jason Helmendollar melt his shoes. Yeah, Kurt. Yeah, the 4-pass loop video is in there. It was a really fun trip. So if you look at my homepage and look, I think I have 2018 backpacking trips and then 2017 backpacking trips, and it's listed right there. Yes, frameless packs. So now we're going to talk about it, I guess. You see actually right there, there's one of my frameless packs. Well, the only frameless pack that I have. I actually had a couple options that I thought about doing. I thought about the Zpacks Nero long and hard. And that's one thing I really hesitated before making my purchase, because I wanted to make a switch to a frameless backpack to at least try it out for the summer. I'm not convinced yet, but I'm getting closer to being convinced that it's possible with a lighter base weight. If you think about my journey or thinking about this, is I remember seeing Gary on the Laurel Highlands Trail carrying this frameless backpack, and he has a Palante Simple Pack. And just once you get your base weight down, it's pretty amazing to me how fast he could hike. He's a fast hiker anyway, or he's capable of hiking quickly. But it was awesome to see how that thing carried and how he kind of fit all his stuff in there. And I've been noticing that more and more on the summer trips, where I look at how much stuff I pack in my Arc Haul, and it's actually cinched down pretty low because I don't need that much space anymore. And so I want to look at some frameless packs. I kind of looked at the Zpacks Nero, like I said, and in terms of weight and everything, I looked at Jason from Outdoor Adventures, his overview and review of the Zpacks Nero a couple times just to kind of get a feel for it. And what it came down to, I think the Zpacks Nero would have been fine, but I wanted to try something different. And so I also looked at the Mountain Laurel Designs Burn, I think it is, as well as I think it's the Prophet, and a lot of cheaper, more mass-produced frameless packs I thought about doing. But I opted finally for the Superior Wilderness Designs Frameless 30, which you see there. And you'll see it in upcoming videos, so you'll kind of get like a teaser back there looking at it. But it looks awesome, first of all. So I opted for that. I've been carrying it pretty much nonstop since I've gotten it. Walking the dog, making sure I walk around the neighborhood a lot with it. I have it loaded up right now to 17 pounds, and it's comfortable. I'm just going 2 to 3 miles at a time, and it's super comfortable. I make sure that you balance it out properly. That's the one thing I've noticed with it, is that I've noticed that you just have to pack the frameless pack properly. It's even more important because you can't have any bulging spots in your backpack, because you're going to feel it against your back. Whereas, the Arc Haul, because it has that suspension to kind of keep your pack off you, you don't have to worry about, this poking in the ribs or that poking in the back. With a frameless pack, every mistake you make in packing is going to be compounded. So it carries really well. It's a 12.5 ounces without the sternum strap, without the hip belt, and I use hip belt loosely just because all it really is just a piece of nylon webbing. And then something else as well that I opted as an option, and you can customize this thing up the wazoo. And what I ended up doing is I ended up going with a Palante style bottom pocket, because I know the first thing I thought about is, okay, I use my hip belts for everything. The big things, I guess, are hat and gloves, and I also use it for snacks out on the trail so I can eat while I hike. And so having that Palante style pocket, and it's different from the Palante, both sides of it you can kind of reach into and get snacks or gloves or hats or whatever. This one is sewn at one end, and the other side you can reach into. So while you're hiking, you actually kind of reach back. You reach back and make sure that you can get your snacks and whatever from under there. And it's actually strangely effective. I was surprised at how well it carried. Thanks for hitting the like button there, John. Life of John. Be sure to do that, guys. It always helps the chat become more recognizable for people. Nick, I always consider everywhere. And yes, Canada is in North America. I think about the United States of America is what I was thinking of. MS Silverhammer. The more I see people hanging, the more it makes me want to give it a try. Yes, Michael, I think you should give it a try. I think it's not for everyone. I don't try to convince everyone they should hang hammocks because then there won't be trees for me. But you should definitely give it a try. It doesn't hurt at all. And like Chris says, there's some really great companies out there. Dream Hammock is the one that I'm a big fan of. It's just basically Randy and Deanna and his son working in the basement of their home. And if you ever seen a tour of their setup, it's pretty impressive what they're able to do and how many hammocks they're able to put out. And so they're just good people, and I would love for you to go and support Dream Hammock for sure. Let's see. Hey, Midwest Outdoors made the live Q&A. And Josh, yes, the 3F ultralight gear packs. I've been watching a couple reviews of that because that's one I considered as well. Going back to the Osprey video, one thing I try to do is I try to support local guys, and Superior Wilderness Designs is a Michigan guy, and I want to make sure I did that. Lack of ventilation, yes, that is the one thing, Drew, that I definitely will miss moving from the Arc Haul to the Superior Wilderness Designs Frameless, is I do notice even in the winter, if I get a kind of good walk going, a good sweat going on, I do feel like right away on my back. Something I have to live with. It's one of the things you kind of give up if you go to a frameless backpack like that. But I think I'll make sure that I adjust to it. Let's see. Yeah, almost went to Nero. I really thought about going with Nero, but the main reason was trying something different. Superior Wilderness Designs, custom options. Yeah, there's so many custom options on Superior Wilderness Designs, and they'll do anything you want. So my Superior Wilderness Designs Frameless does not have a hydration port because I literally never use a hydration bladder or a hose. I don't need to feed it in there at all. I think you could. It's also optional. I have the trekking pole ice axe loops on there. You don't really need them. Sternum strap is all that stuff came and you kind of installed it yourself if you wanted to. Nick is asking, let's see. Oh, best logo ever. Yes. Are frameless packs able to handle the extra weight of rod tubes, net, fly tackle strapped on the outside of the pack? I think it just has a total weight rating. So I think it can. It just depends how much of the other stuff you're carrying. So I know that Superior Wilderness Designs Frameless, it's 18 to 20 pounds is where it starts to kind of get uncomfortable. And of course, they have so many options. You can actually order a pack with a removable frame. And I think if Josh Harris in the chat, he can kind of chime in. But you have that option available if you want to. In terms of isobutane canisters, usually I buy my REI. I have not noticed because I don't use isobutane very much. Only recently I've used them in the wintertime, but I tend to use the alcohol stove most of all. See ya, Bob. Dream hammocks, it ranges, bleep bleep Ohio. So my Darien, for example, I did the absolute bare bones of my Dream Hammock Darien, and it's about 129, I think it is. But of course, it depends on if they're running a sale or anything's going on. It depends what options you choose. You can choose down to the color of thread and the color of whoopee slings, all this stuff. So yeah, Josh is right, about 100. Hello from Ohio, Jan. Let's see. I'm a side sleeper. Can I sleep on my side in a hammock from Midwest Outdoors? Thanks for answering as well in the chat, guys. You guys are awesome. Yes, you can do it. It's a little bit different from you. If you have an underquilt, it's definitely way easier to do that than on a pad. I think side sleeping on a pad is a little bit more difficult, but it's possible. It's one of those things you just have to adjust to it. I just ordered a Raven. Nice, Sue. Rick is talking about being a side sleeper and comfortable in his hammock. Yeah, it's definitely possible. And the frameless pack I have is the Superior Wilderness Designs Frameless 30 is what I have. and so it's only 12.5 ounces when it's stripped down. Trips for this summer, Jan, the big trip that's planned right now in July is going to be Utah. The hope is that we'll be able to see Devin from Backcountry Exposure out there, and we have maybe a kind of a lollipop route or kind of a loop. We'll come back to the car, but minimal backtracking and checking out some canyon hiking and lots of Utah lakes and higher altitude. It should be kind of fun. So that's the big trip this summer. Of course, I think in June I'm going to try some family camping in the Smokies is the hope, and then August I believe is still open, maybe the beginning of the month, but it'll probably close up soon. My guess is Michigan. The Byland podcast with Brandon from Super Real Science. Yeah, the Frameless 30 is really nice, and one reason I wanted to check out the Superior Wilderness Designs pack is just because I wanted to try out the X pack material. And so, you know, Waymark Trek is it? I think Waymark Co. They also make packs that look very similar to the Superior Wilderness Designs packs, but the X pack material is very different to me than the Grid Stop material or the Cuban type material. And so I really like the feel of it. Of course, it comes in different gauges or different grades. You have lots of different color options. So you kind of see my pack there by my left shoulder. It has kind of red straps, and it also has red side pockets and red bottom as well. And then the body is black. So it's really cool. I just love customizing your own pack. Let's see. Sometime back, you said that Shug was an acquired taste. I've never been so offended in my life. Not liking him is an acquired taste in a sense that you've acquired no taste. That's a little rough. I think it's just one of those things where I remember when I first watched him. The reason I say that, Chris, is I remember when I first watched him and I was new into hammock camping, and sometimes I'm like, okay, Shug, what is the point of the video? And he was off juggling or doing something else. And I'm like, okay, so what's the point of the video? And if you hang in there, there's a lot of good kind of meat and a lot of good substance to his videos. It's one of those things where it's more of an acquired taste. Let me know how it's doing, guys. It looks like it was buffering there for a second. Hopefully it's still working okay. It looks like YouTube is being super slow tonight. I have everything else shut down on the computer, but it was looking like it was having a little bit issue there. Hey, Tom. 115 for a basic Darien. And Josh Harrod is saying, yep, he almost always has the frame of his backpack out. Thanks, Nick. That's good to know. That looks good on your end. Lots of side sleepers, looks like. Oh, Rick is asking when that blanket is coming. He's talking about what I ordered from Massdrop. If you guys haven't noticed, massdrop.com, what they have, if they have a pine down blanket. And one of the good things about that is that it's supposed to be a little bit better than, see you later, Meerkat. It's supposed to be better than the Costco quilt, because Costco quilt, of course, is only $20. The Massdrop quilt is, you're talking about $100, and it's supposed to have less stitching there as well, and less kind of cold spots. So that's something to keep in mind. So it's coming in May. Part-time hiker, do the Joshes have to pack their own trowel too? Yes, they have their own trowels, even though I've been known to lend my trowels to people. Let's see, Boulder Mountain, Devin. Let's see, check out Mile High Campground. Want to camp in the Smokies? Lots of questions about Devin is making some awesome bags now. Yeah, if you check out Backcountry Exposure, he's making a bunch of Diddy type bags, sewing a bunch himself, using a lot of ripstop by the roll stuff. So that's awesome. Roll top food bag would be kind of awesome too. Josh is mentioning in the chat. Where do I get my maps when I'm... Wow, I was really stuttering there for a second. Where do I get my maps when I'm planning a trip? It just depends on where I'm going. So the Smokies, a lot of things is I kind of use online. Red River Gorge, I either have a good guide with me, and so that would be Adam, That'd be Adam right now, or they actually have Outrage GIS makes some good maps out there if you want to order one. Free this weekend, heading out to Zion National Park. I'd love to go see Zion. And Tom has asked my mustache, and it is real. You can't really pull this thing off. You know, it just buzzed it the other day. Have I ever hiked without a smartphone? Yes, I have hiked without a smartphone. Multiple days? Probably not. And yeah, and that's another good book Lance is talking about. If you're going to Red River Gorge, check out the Good Night to All Things Outdoors. I'm going to check out the Hinterlands book, Red River Gorge. It has lots of different options for trails. It looks like for whatever reason, I know we usually go an hour long. It looks like the stream quality is lower than I'd like it to be. So if you have any final questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll kind of close out earlier than usual tonight. If you have any last questions, make sure you put them in there. But it just looks like YouTube is acting kind of funky tonight, so we'll just kind of take it easy. So we'll see what happens. Adam as in Sierra Photog. Yep, that's exactly who I'm talking about. If you have a good guide in the gorge, make sure you check out Adam's channel for sure. But yeah, it looks like for some reason the stream is feels like 30 seconds behind. The quality is just a little lower. But I think that's it for tonight. I think we kind of covered the frameless packs, kind of talked about Red River Gorge a little bit. We'll stay a little longer than we usually will next time we stream. I don't think I'll set up the event next time. That seemed like it didn't go well. Make sure that you comment down below if you have any questions. Of course, if you're watching the replay, I always kind of answer. And so thanks for watching, guys. It's always fun hanging out. Sorry it was shorter than usual this time. We'll go ahead and make sure that we fix whatever technical issues were going on this time, and next time we'll have it be better. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.